coast to coast, it's your hosts, the Lombardi Leap and Mersey FB. This is Beyond the Frozen Tundra.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, the Lombardi Leap, here with Mersey FB. Let's talk about Packers football. Monday night, Lambeau Field against the Eagles. Apparently, we're supposed to get about an inch of snow. So that's kind of going to be a little winter wonderland in early November here.
Now, that's the type of game you wear the whiteout unis for.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Eagles are wearing their Brazil uniforms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's the white and black, and we are
Yeah.
wearing our classic green and yellows, which is
Nice.
still, yeah, I like that. Obviously, like, this is a pretty motivating game here for the Packers to rebound off of Carolina, as well as kind of get a revenge game here from the playoff loss from the Eagles. And then, obviously, the Eagles, they want to protect their NFC, their number one seed status in the NFC, coming off of a bye week as well.
Yeah, this is starting to seem like an eerily similar game coming into the playoffs as last year. Just because we have no receivers again.
Honestly, like, setting the scene, we're dealing with injuries here, obviously, especially in the wide receiver room. The only relatively healthy wide receiver is Romeo Doubs. I mean, Christian Watson's still ramping up.
But he'll play. Well, he'll play most of the game.
He'll play most of the game. Still be on a snap count, though. Wicks is coming back from a calf injury. He's been limited, missed the last 2.5, roughly, games. Matthew Golden, because they just seem very much bent on playing him out of the slot and letting him get line drive by linebackers all the time, did not participate on Friday and was actually downgraded due to a shoulder injury. So hopefully today here on Saturday, as well as going into Sunday, he'll get the rest he needs. And then they stop running those jet sweeps with him or line of scrimmage passes, because that's just annoying. And that's not who he is. That's not what he showed at Texas. You know it. I know it. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here.
Yeah. I'm excited to see kind of the prove it element for this Packers team coming this game. This is a real challenge for them, especially with some of the narratives that have been going around. And just to say that, hey, we are a contender. Take us seriously.
Yeah. And the Packers do have a habit of, after they play like a bad game like we did against Cleveland, they end up playing really, really well. So they do seem to bounce back fairly well against teams. And the only thing is that the Eagles are coming off of a bye week. So they've had some extra rest. Unfortunately for them, it is an away game, but still, like, they are a fairly healthy team there. I know we talked about, like, the Wicks injury and how him coming back, Matthew Golden. What are you kind of looking for in this offense right now?
If the offensive line can survive, this game is going to be dictated in the trenches. And if we can win the front seven on both sides of the ball, then I think we'll stand a good chance.
Yeah, and this offensive line has been pretty banged up all year, unfortunately. And
the Eagles aren't healthy at edge rusher either, but they have just traded for, or on defensive line, sorry. They have just traded for Jalen Phillips. Moro Ojomo is coming back from concussion protocol, so he should be good to go too. They don't have Nolan Smith, and they don't have Azeez Ojulari either.
No, both of them are out, yeah. And it is going to be interesting to see how much Jalen Phillips gets used here, as he was just traded. Would have been, the trade deadline was on Tuesday?
Tuesday. He just joined the team on Tuesday.
Yeah. So he just joined the team on Tuesday. He is a DPR to start, so, I mean, that's what they're going to use him for. That's what they kind of need. I like our athletic right tackle, Zach Tom. I don't really worry too much about him. But it's going to be Rasheed Walker. Going to always give me some question marks here, especially when it comes to speed rushers.
He'll be the question mark, and that's kind of Jalen Phillips' calling card. Speed rushing, finesse. I liked him coming out of the draft in 2021. Just
Yeah.
kind of dating back to that. Actually ended up joining the team on Monday. He was traded for a day before the trade deadline. But
So you got an extra
I
day.
think, yeah, I think he'll still be situationally more of a pass rusher, and they'll kind of do the Micah thing for our first game where they kind of work him up into speed. But
At least he's been playing football
yeah, at least
too.
he's been
So
playing.
it does help them. And then a familiar friend or turned foe here, Jair Alexander was traded from the Baltimore Ravens to beef up the Eagles secondary there as well.
Don't think he's gonna help much. Not gonna lie. That's just
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
the Ravens secondary hasn't been the healthiest, and they had Jair inactive for most of the season.
Yeah. And when he did play,
Wasn't great. Was not great.
no, it was not great at all. So, yeah, I'm more worried about the linebackers because that's really
Mhm.
the strong suit is the linebackers and this defensive line. But even this defensive line though is having some issues this year in terms of just getting to the quarterback, like we stated earlier, as well as I mean they have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is obviously does very well at stopping the run. But outside of that, like their rushing defense, their run defense has not been the greatest this year.
This is what worries me: is Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in the middle there.
Mhm.
I feel like Elton, uh, Aaron Banks, and probably Jordan Morgan again at right guard. They're gonna have their hands full just blocking those two, and especially once, um, if the Eagles decide to blitz anybody, they've well, we saw what Calais Campbell did to Jordan Morgan as more of the power rusher style.
Yeah.
So both of the Eagles' defensive tackles are power rushers. Jalen Carter's just good at football, so he can do both.
Mhm. Yeah. Very much. I would like to see Chris Brooks play a little bit more here, especially with Josh Jacobs still nursing that calf injury. Because if you can give him some time, he'll connect with somebody. Like he
Mhm.
will, 100%. That secondary outside of Quinion Mitchell is not very good. I mean, Adoree Jackson hasn't been good. Ringo, I mean, Jacorian Bennett's on IR. They brought in Jair Alexander.
Brought in Michael Carter too.
They brought in Michael Carter from the Jets. Again, none of these guys have been great in coverage the last couple of years at all.
No, they're gonna play Cooper outside now. I think.
Which good luck.
Good luck to him. I think he can, but we'll see how he does for the first couple times.
I really don't think he can. I just don't think he has the sideline to the not the sideline, the athleticism to stick with these more athletic wide receivers.
That feels like profiling, but um,
It's not, I swear. It's
I
just
know I'm just
like
joking.
even at Iowa, like he's better coming in downhill.
Yes, definitely. I do agree with that. He's more of a zone corner than man to man,
Mhm.
but I think he can survive. He's more of a stopgap. I think his true home is nickel, where he's closer to the ball. I'm expecting the Eagles to blitz a lot from the linebacker level.
Yeah, they definitely have the linebacker room to do that.
I think N'Kobe's their better blitzer, and so you're going to see N'Kobe Dean blitz a lot. So as you mentioned earlier, playing Chris Brooks will help in pass protection.
Zach Bond is playing out of his mind. Well,
High
still for
PFF
them.
grades again.
Always for Zach Bond. 80.
Yeah.
He's seventh highest rated linebacker.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know that meme of like The Rock where he puts his hand out and it's like Zach Bond using his PFF grades to stop people?
Yeah. That is pretty funny. I mean,
It is pretty
he's
funny.
he's had a good year though. Again, I mean, his safeties haven't been playing well. Blankenship's having a very rough year. Makuba, you said in the past, he's shown, but again, in coverage, you can good quarterbacks can pick apart this secondary.
They
It's just a
definitely can.
matter of are our wide receivers going to be healthy here. I kind of want to look at to how are you feeling about our defensive line versus their offensive line? I mean, LVN is out, which means I'm assuming he must have had some kind of a setback because this is game 4 now he's missed, and I'm surprised he didn't go to IR and he's missing game 4. So
Yeah.
the only thing I can assume is that there was some kind of setback there, unfortunately, because they did elevate Aaron Mosby to the 53.
Mm. I think Micah Parsons always does well against Lane. Like they always it's a heavyweight fight, but Micah always seems to come out on top for those ones.
Hmm. Yeah, that is true.
They might have to double him. That leaves Rashawn open. I think it's important to note that for the Eagles' offensive line, their starting center Cam Jurgens is out.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's listed as questionable, but he hasn't participated in practice the last 2 days, and so you'd expect a backup center.
You think it's going to be Willie Lampkin? Because I know they designated him to return from IR.
No, I think that it's going to be Brett Toth or Kendall.
That is going to help us, I think.
Yeah, it'll give Wyatt more runway.
Yeah. Especially if they're
Wyatt
double
Wooden
teaming.
more runway. Hmm.
Yeah, if they're double teaming Micah Parsons, like I do think that's going to help Wyatt, especially.
Or even just sliding protection one way.
Hmm. Yeah. Obviously, we have to. I mean, since we're talking about their offensive line, I think we're going to take care of Saquon.
Yeah, he hasn't had the same year that he did last year. That's for sure.
No,
So far.
no, he hasn't. I mean, their offense as a whole hasn't.
Yeah.
Like I know their offense is technically ranked high, but they've had some issues. They've had some locker room issues too.
Hmm. Like his highest running total for a season, 150, pretty high. But it just came against the Giants the other week.
Yeah,
So
and that was a depleted Giants team too as well, especially offensively. They just couldn't hold up.
yeah, other than that, it's been like 43 yards, 30 yards, 58 yards, 44 yards. So he
Yeah.
hasn't had the same meteoric season yet, which I think helps us.
Hmm.
But he might have a chip on his shoulder, be like, "Hey, I'm still Saquon," and then
As running backs get older, he's 28, gonna be 29.
he's the same age as Josh. No,
Yeah, I think so. And Josh Jacobs hasn't had a spectacular year either, but some of that is just how hurt our offensive line is. I mean, who are you kind of looking out for, especially on this Eagles offense? Yeah,
Devontae Smith.
yeah. I was gonna say it has to be Devonta Smith. I mean, Jahan Dotson. I'm not. He's fine. You know, I've seen Javon Bullard take care of AJ Brown. I hope Javon Bullard does it again. You know, lets
Yeah,
AJ
just
Brown know.
level him.
Yeah. I hope he lets him know. I am interested to see who they have on Devonta Smith. I don't think that
CV,
Nixon.
like I
Yeah,
think it has to be.
yeah, you have to put. This would be great. I wish Asante Samuel Jr. would have signed with us, but hey,
Hmm. I think in my head, the coverage strategy that I'm coming up with as extreme copium is you have CV and you have Nixon on the outside. Pray none of them go down during the game. You have McKinney start bracketing whoever is struggling in coverage throughout the early part of the game.
go Dixon.
So Nixon, you have McKinney help Nixon, and then you kind of play Bullard not on his own, but more towards Carrington Valentine's side of the field.
Yeah, I like that idea. And then you can kind of mask it too, as
Hmm.
well. So that way you're able to confuse Jalen Hurts a little bit.
Yeah. What do you think about what Dallas Goddard's going to be able to do this game?
Oh man. Um, you know what? I actually don't think he's going to be as much of a problem. Like, I do think that the Packers are going to, because we're one of the best teams when it comes to stopping big plays.
Yeah.
So I really don't expect them to have a lot of big plays. And while I think Dallas Goddard is going to be an issue, I don't think he's going to be as big of an issue because we've seen Javon Bullard take strides and we've seen Edrin Cooper take strides. And I think we've seen Quay Walker take strides as well. Like, yeah, Quay's not the greatest in coverage, but he's been able to use his athleticism to at least make passes more difficult there and cause overthrows and such, just because of his him being able to go stride for stride there. I think Dallas Goddard might end up being their most targeted
Probably because he'll
receiver.
be open the most in the short to intermediate area of the field.
Yeah. So I do think we're gonna get nickeled and dimed again, but I think the difference here is that our offense is actually gonna be able to. I do think our offense is gonna be able to capitalize a lot more than they did versus the Carolina Panthers. That's where I'm kind of leaning with it. What are you kind of thinking?
I agree with that. And then they're gonna try and just do quick roads to Devontae Smith, and then they'll establish that, and then they'll try the deep shot to AJ when you're kind of not expecting it, or when everyone's kind of closer towards the line.
I like. Yeah, I don't think we get sucked in though because I like Evan Williams versus the run. I like Javon Bullard versus the run and on the inside or on the short game a little bit more. So I'm not. I mean, the one thing I'm not worried about obviously is the deep passing game. I do think Devontae Smith is quick. They might get like one or they might like, get like one on us. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's because Nixon will probably get caught somehow, or 'cause he usually does. He usually gives up like one big play a game here. It seems like,
hmm
but I don't think it's going to be enough to really uh set the safeties back even more. I think they're going to be fine with that. And my thing too is I think if you force Jalen Hurts to go through progressions, the worse he gets.
Yeah, the longer you make him stay in the pocket.
Hmm. Yeah. That's what I think is going to be key because we've seen what the Packers can do. Like I'm not
hmm
necessarily thinking this is going to be a big sack game. More, I mean, it might be just because Micah Parsons is a difference maker, but we've done a very, very good job at bottling up Jalen Hurts,
Yeah.
like we did last year, both games. And I think that the Packers are very good against these mobile quarterbacks. I think with Jacoby Brissett, that was a true pocket passer, whereas Jalen Hurts isn't necessarily a true pocket passer. I don't put him on the level of like everybody jokes about how Lamar Jackson's a running back as a running back playing QB. Like I think that's overblown. But I don't think he's as good of a pocket passer as people think he is.
You you kind of want him off his first read. I don't want to say similar to Justin Fields because I'll get eaten alive for that. But
No,
similar to
that's
Justin
no,
Fields,
that's yeah.
where you force him off his read, make him a little uncomfortable, you get the pocket closer to him.
Mhm.
What I also don't think we'll see is we won't blitz all that often. We'll do this Jane Daniels game plan from earlier in the year.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
So you don't want him scrambling on us.
Hey, that's a great point. Yeah, if they can pull a Jaden Daniels game, this could get very ugly very quick for the Eagles there.
Well, we've done it before, so it's just like showing that we can do it again.
Consistently, yeah.
Yeah, against who I would say is a better passer than Jalen Hurts.
You think Jaden Daniels is a better passer than
Yes,
Jalen Hurts? Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I agree. I do agree. I do think like obviously like Jalen Hurts won Super Bowl MVP. Like I'm not
He
saying he's a
played well
bad
that game.
quarterback.
He
Hmm.
he stepped up in the when the lights are brightest.
Yeah, like they got their Super Bowl again. I I'd put him a couple ticks above Jared Goff.
Yeah, but we also don't love Jared Goff on the show, so
I know.
there's a
What is it? My like out of all the quarterbacks in the league, like I can say right now that Jalen Hurts is probably a top 50 is a top 15 quarterback. You
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
fair?
yeah, yeah.
Like that's
He's a plus quarterback in the NFL. He's
yeah
top 15.
yeah. Who's the
We'd put
quarterback for the Jaguars?
Trevor
Um, Trevor
Lawrence.
Lawrence. I I call it the that's what I call it. I call it because it used to be the Andy Dalton line.
Ah,
Whereas you remember the Andy Dalton line?
yeah.
Basically, the Andy Dalton line is where if you have Andy Dalton as your starting quarterback, eh, it's okay. Like you don't necessarily need a quarterback, but you really should potentially be looking to upgrade.
So like I was like 7 through like 13 when the time that Andy Dalton was in his prime. So I don't
Yeah.
really, I wasn't the biggest football fan then, but I do remember Andy Dalton.
So I call it now. I call it the Trevor Lawrence line. And the reason is I call it the Trevor Lawrence line is because Trevor Lawrence has some okay to good moments
Yeah.
because of his draft pedigree
Hmm.
and his contract. He is I'd say he's probably like 16, you know? And
Yes. Maybe a
like
little lower.
maybe like a little lower, but like in the league right now with how many solid starting
42.
quarterbacks there are, I would put Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff just above a couple, like maybe 2 to 3 above the Trevor Lawrence line.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's comfortable.
It's also fair to note that we have Jordan around quarterback like 7 to 8 for both of us. Maybe a little higher
Yeah,
for you, but I have him around the 7 to 8 line.
7 to 8
So
is fair. I think that's good. Like, just kind of based on what's happened here. But I don't blame some of the recent stuff on him at all
no, no,
whatsoever.
no.
It is going to be interesting to see how these QBs play. Obviously, like, one of the things that Eagles fans are yapping about is, well, 3 interceptions, 3 interceptions. I'm like, look, man, he was trying to win games.
Well, how many interceptions does Jalen Hurts have? Can't be.
Jalen Hurts
Oh,
doesn't have
right.
a lot of interceptions this year. I don't think he does. He only has
He's
one.
got one. Wow, actually good for him.
15 touchdowns, 1 interception. But I
Jordan's
don't
got what? What's his stat line?
his 3 interceptions.
So how many touch? 13 touch. Okay. So objectively, Jalen's been the better passer, but wait. Jordan's got more passing yards. That's all that matters.
I don't think they're throwing it as
They're
far.
not throwing it that deep. So Jordan Love, 2,071 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a QBR of 72.8. The QBR ranks him 6th in the league. Jalen Hurts, 1,677 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR of 66.9 per ESPN, ranking him 9th. Jordan has been the more efficient quarterback.
How many passing attempts? Like, I don't think that they're realistically, I don't really think they're passing a lot.
155. Oh wait, 155. Wait, this is versus NFC. Hold on. 215. Jordan's
Jor-
got
Jordan's has
250.
215.
Jordan's got 250. Jalen Hurts has 215.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're not passing the ball that much. Like, they're not. Here, I do think Jordan Love's the better quarterback, but we'll have to
I would
kind of
agree
see.
with you. Before we move on, talk about some kicking competition for us possibly, and then just kind of like more of the revenge game angle and matchups. I would like to take a moment and talk about the massive elephant in the room, which is officiating this game. I think the Eagles
Ooh.
might get away with some stuff with one very specific play that rhymes with Bush something. I don't Bush push. No, tush push. Yeah. I think if any team runs it this game, the ref should just say false start immediately because that is what happens on it,
With a backup center.
especially with the backup center. But like the guards for the Eagles have gone early every time they've done the tush push.
I'm not even gonna complain about it because, like, we all know it's gonna be gone next year, and I expect the refs to.
I just wanted to say why we weren't addressing it, but like it's gonna
No, I
happen.
get you.
It'll suck in the moment, but there's not much they can do about it. It is a terrible play to officiate and won't be in the league next year. Fingers crossed. That's why we didn't talk about it. Now, moving on to kicking competition, who would you start, Havrisic or McManus?
Well, guess what? We don't have a choice because they already announced it.
Yeah, well, I don't care about that choice. What do you want?
I mean, I would start. I would start Haverisic. Like, I think he said the hot leg. I think he performed better. Obviously, they're going with McManus. I don't agree with that, but I think that if McManus doesn't show up today or sorry on Sunday, then he is going to be shipped out at that point
Yeah,
because that'll be you'll be 3 or 4. What is it? 4 games where he's missed kicks in a row.
it will be 4 games if he's
Either
missed.
that or
If
he
he's
has to
missed
go on
kicks.
IR. Yeah, one of the two. Either he's shipped out or he goes on IR. I don't
Mhm.
think I don't think you can continue with that.
They can't
That's
ship him now. The trade deadline's passed, so they just kind
by
of
shipped
cut
out.
him
I mean, cut
loose.
him. Yeah,
But
I
that,
just mean cut him.
yeah,
That's realistically what would happen is he would get cut.
I agree with you with starting Hrisic, especially in the snow. But you don't know how much experience he has kicking in the snow, which makes sense for McManus because McManus kicked in Denver for a
Mhm.
while.
True.
So
True. Well, let's go to the X factors here specifically. Who are you kind of feeling? Who are you feeling that's going to have a good game? Who do you think's going to be
oof.
important for the Packers?
So on offense, you're gonna hate me for this. I said Romeo Dobbs. I think he's our only active or only healthy wide receiver, and therefore will get a lot of the
Safety blanket.
workload and attention. Hopefully, he's able to show up and separate and do his thing. Looking for maybe a touchdown, 100 plus yards for him. And then on defense, I said Micah Parsons because he always plays well against Lane. Or I was gonna say Lane Kiffin. That's so wrong. Holy.
Coach for Ole Miss.
Yeah, he always plays well against Lane Johnson. Got it right. There'll be a heavyweight fight in the trenches, but I think Micah will be able to prevail there. And for my score prediction, I said we win in a close one, 24-21.
I like it. I get the Dobbs thing. Like I do. I mean, he's
Mhm.
like our only healthy wide receiver, as well as he is Jordan Love's safety blanket. And with, unfortunately, Tucker Kraft tearing his ACL, he's on IR. We're going to be seeing a lot more of Luke Musgrave. I was half tempted to put like a Luke Musgrave legacy game.
That would be really funny.
I was this close to be honest. Like I believe I went with Christian Watson, and I went with Christian Watson because he is just a difference maker when they get him the ball, and without Golden being 100%, without Wicks being 100%, I do think that Dubs is going to be covered a little bit better in by the nickel and such, and so I just don't think there's really any corner that's on the roster for the Eagles right now that can match up to Christian Watson.
That is
Christian
true.
Watson's
I would
he's
agree with
220.
that.
He's 225 now, 6'4".
Yeah.
Like that is a massive, massive wide receiver that they're going to have to deal with, and I think last game they misused him a little bit towards the what was it, the second half? Because in the first half he had that big bomb of a catch there. In the second half, they kind of Matt LaFleur did his Matt LaFleur thing and just didn't use
Yeah.
him right. So I do think that Watson is going to have a big game, get back to it. And then I think Devontae Wyatt.
Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah. And the reason is I say Devontae Wyatt is because, like you pointed out, their backup center, Micah Parsons, is going to draw, I think, a lot of help, as well as I think Gary's going to draw a lot of help too as well. So I think that they're gonna try and let their guards do their guard thing, but I just think Wyatt is going to really suck up that middle and go to town. And I think the Packers. I think that what saves McManus's job is the fact that we don't kick a field goal this week. We get 4 touchdowns. I think Matt
Whoa.
LaFleur is going to grow a little bit more of a spine this week like he did last week. And 28-23. That's where I'm at with it. Packers win. Packers win, beat, and regain the number 1 seed in the NFC North.
You're not kicking field goals, but they're still kicking 4 extra points. So
Yeah,
you
well,
have
at
to
least
cross
that's
your fingers.
that's closer for him, you know?
Yeah.
Barring somebody messes up on special teams and we get a penalty,
Hmm.
which inevitably does happen.
And the celebration rule now for post touchdown seems to be 2 pumps,
Oh,
as
yeah.
we found out last week. So let's just keep it to 1.
Ingle McCringleberry.
Yeah.
1 pump only. I know, snowy day in Lambeau. Hopefully it'll be snowy. I know they're predicting 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is just snow. Very picturesque here. Eagles coming to Lambeau. Revenge game for the Packers, but also a potential revenge game for Jair Alexander. I think this is a game where the Packers, again, they need to treat every week like they're like prove it, and
Mhm.
they need to prove that they are still the top dog in the NFC. That is all, folks. Until next time.
To Packers fans coast to coast, thanks for going beyond the frozen tundra. We appreciate you tuning in. And as always, go Pack Go!